Okay, Alien Isolation. I recently replayed this game. It's only my second playthrough. I first played it when it was first released. I'm not really sure how many years ago now. But yeah, it's taken me a while to revisit the game, and I'll explain why in a moment. But yeah, I recently replayed Alien Isolation, and I just really wanted to talk about the experience of playing this game. So I'm a massive fan of the Alien movies. I adore the first three. Yes, I am a big fan of that third movie, and I know I'm probably in a minority there, but I'm quite fond of David Fincher's Alien 3. But I absolutely adore those movies. And what I feel Creative Assembly did really well with this game, the developers of Alien Isolation, is really capture the look and the feel, the vibe and the atmosphere of that original 1979 movie directed by Ridley Scott. They did a fantastic job at creating or recreating the aesthetic and the atmosphere of that original movie, of that world that we first witnessed and experienced back in 1979. You know, along with the sound design, I think the sound design in this game is incredible. I loved it. Down to the little electronic beeps from the computers, and sort of the moans of the space station, and the music, the orchestral music with the screeching violins, which just really sort of transported me back into this world, and it was so immersive, and it was just great to see it come to life in this format, this form. And along with all of those ingredients, the music, the sound design, the lighting as well, the lighting in this game is incredible. All of those ingredients help really create this immersive, intense and very stressful atmosphere, and a creepy and eerie atmosphere. The atmosphere in this game is incredible. It is so intense and creepy and eerie, and I found my first playthrough incredibly difficult because it generally scared the life out of me. It put me on edge while I was playing this game. I found it a very nerve-wracking experience, but I loved it as a result of that, because it reminded me of being a child again, when I used to secretly watch Alien late at night on my TV in my bedroom, and I would lower the volume down just enough so I could hear what they were saying, and make sure my parents couldn't hear it, because my parents didn't want me watching this kind of movie. And I was very young when I first watched Alien. I can't exactly remember how old I was, but I was definitely between the age of 5 and 10 when I first watched it, and it used to scare the life out of me. But I enjoyed it because of the experience of watching that movie and the thrill from it. And playing this game for the first time really transported me back to being that child again in my bedroom, secretly watching Alien with the volume turned down. And as a result of that, it sort of felt very nostalgic while playing the game. But it's nostalgic anyway because of how they brought the world to life, like the details in this game in regards to the aesthetic, and where you know, the computer screens and the sounds. It's so authentic to that original movie that it is just, the overall experience is just very nostalgic. But to explain the reason why it did take me so long to revisit Alien Isolation is because that first experience was so stressful, it was so intense, and I loved it, I enjoyed it, but it was such a stressful experience that I just held off from playing it. And at the same time, I kind of wanted to hold on to that first experience, and so yeah, but that's why I didn't return for such a long time, because it is so stressful. So the story of the game is pretty straightforward. You've got Amanda Ripley, the daughter of Ellen Ripley, and she's looking for her mother. And I really liked this story. I feel like that it sort of baffles me, because I'm wondering, why didn't they sort of go down this route with the movies? Like, this could have really have tied in nicely with Ellen Ripley's story. And it could have been based, you know, it could have been a sequel after Aliens, it could have been based in between Alien and Aliens, depending on how you sort of play in the time jumps due to the cryosleep into the storyline. But I felt like we could have had the first 3 Alien movies, because again, like I said, I'm a big fan of that third movie, and then we could have had these, and it would have sort of, you've still got that mystery then, and but I just kind of like the mystery aspect of the story with her daughter looking for her mother, and I just felt like it could have really tied in nicely with Ellen Ripley's, her mother's story, and it sort of reminds me of Terminator Resistance, because I really enjoyed the story. I really liked the story in Terminator Resistance. I felt like it was a much better continuation of Terminator 2, and I feel like the writers of these games, Alien Isolation and Terminator Resistance, did a much better job at the, you know, sort of continuing these stories than any other previous director or writer of those sequels like Terminator 3 or Alien Resurrection. And for me, the story in this game is just this one really big sort of slow burn that slowly but gradually escalates and just gets more intense, and it's incredible, and I really liked it how it played out. It's a while until you get the first reveal of the alien, and I really enjoyed that because it's just like the first movie where, it takes its time, you get to know the characters and get really immersed into the world before you actually encounter encounter the alien. And I really liked that. And then afterwards, it's just sort of really slowly escalates and just gets, like I said, gets more intense until the story, you think it's going to end, then it continues, and then you think it's going to end again, and then it just continues. And I love that. A lot of people have complained about that, but for me, it just really kept me at the edge of my seat, and I just wanted to keep on going. And I really wanted to see the continuation of Amanda Ripley's story, and I liked the ending in this game, and it left me wanting more, and I was hoping for a sequel. Unfortunately, we never got a sequel, and I think it's due to poor sales. I'm a little bit surprised, because this is a fantastic horror survival stealth game. It's probably one of the best I've ever played, and so yeah, I'm a little bit I'm very disappointed. But in terms of the story and how it plays out through the game, it's just an incredible immersive experience that's so intense and stressful, but just how it plays out is brilliant. The pacing is just right, and I just think the length of the game is just right as well. I really like the gameplay, and I love how you're playing the character of Amanda Ripley in first person, because I felt like it really adds to the immersion and really adds to sort of that scary, creepy experience. And the fact that you've got these save stations, so the only way to save the game is at these save stations where you've got to put a card in it, and you've got to wait like a couple of seconds until you actually able to save the game, but you've got to do it at the right moments and the right time, and making sure that the xenomorph is not nearby, because if you're saving in those few seconds, it could be standing right next to you and it will have you. And I just loved that. It was a sort of a great sort of way of really adding to that tension, and sometimes very frustrating, but I liked it. And the AI in this game is incredible. So there are 3 types of enemy in the game. You have humans, and then you've got the working Joes, which are the androids, and they are creepy as fuck with their pale, motionless expressions. It kind of reminded me of Michael Myers a little bit, the way they sort of just walk through the station. They're very unpredictable at times and can be very hard to defeat. But I just dug the look of them because they were just so creepy and unpredictable as well. And then you've got the alien, and the AI in this alien, this enemy, is just amazing because it's so unpredictable. Like, it's there, it's stalking you in the air ducts, and you just don't know when it's going to jump out at you. You've got to be very quiet. And I spent a lot of the game kneeling down, really slowly making my way through the corridors and into the rooms, and making sure you just don't run so fast, because it will hear you and it will come for you. And it's just, it was brilliant. And you've sort of got to plan your mission, or you've got to plan your route through this setting very, very carefully, and that again really helps add to the immersion of the game. It really gets you immersed into the game. And so yeah, I think the AI in this game is just amazing. And then you've also got the motion tracker as well, so if the alien is close by, or it's sort of stalking the corridors, that will ping and let you know. And obviously it gets a lot more intense the closer it gets to you, and it all adds to the tension. It's beautifully done, but it's also very, very stressful. I cannot stress this enough. playing Isolation is incredibly stressful, but it's great. And I found myself at times being very mesmerized by the alien, even though it's terrifying, and they do a great job of recreating the xenomorph. And the actual the model of the alien is so well done, and even the way it moves, they really do a good job at capturing the alien's movement. And you know, there's a lot of jump scares and a lot of surprises, and when it reveals itself, it's so elegant the way it moves, and I really appreciated that. And even though it makes you jump and you're like, shit, I've got to get away from you, I many times I just couldn't help but be mesmerized by the way this thing moved as it reveals itself from an air duct. It's just beautiful. So yeah, some people complained that the game was too long, but for me it wasn't long enough. I loved how it sort of played out. Unfortunately, we never got a sequel to this, but for me it's a very well crafted survival horror stealth game, one of the best that I've ever played. And if you're a massive fan of the Alien movies, especially that original 1979 movie, then you're gonna love this. And I just think it's a part of the story that just baffles me that they've never explored this before. And like Terminator Resistance, you know, the developers did a really good job at immersing you into a world that I loved so much, and really beautifully recaptured that vibe of Ridley Scott's original 1979 movie. It's a fantastic experience, one of the best games I've ever played. Actually, on my second playthrough, I purposely played it. One of the main reasons for me to replay the game was just to do a review for my channel, and there was nothing in this game that I could fault. In the words of Ash, it's indeed the perfect organism, and I will be giving Alien Isolation a 10 out of 10. That's my thought on Alien Isolation. Maybe one day I'll do a playthrough of one of these games like Alien Isolation. Maybe I'll do a playthrough on this channel one day, maybe. Yeah, for those of you that have watched my review up until this point, thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. And if you want to follow a geek from Wales, just ramble on about TV, film, games and everything geeky, then why not hit the subscribe button? It will mean an awful lot to me. And that's it from me. I'm Ashley Thomas, signing off.